Happy Wednesday, everyone! So the first question that I received on my video that I posted last week is from Miss Carissa Hawley, and she asked, how do you prepare for an exam? How much study do you do a week? And what are the best tips on studying? So, I have a video similar to this that I made who knows how long ago, but like I said, this is going to be sort of a fresh new start of the channel, so if you guys have questions of videos that are already made, maybe I can introduce new ways of thinking about doing something. So, for the first part, how do you prepare for an exam? Typically, in college, some professors will decide, yes, I want to give them a study guide, or no, I do not. For the most part, at least at my university, it's pretty small, so my professors are nice enough to give us a study guide with basically highlights of really, really important topics in each of the chapters. So what I do throughout the semester, because we are now in the 4th week of the new semester, it's basically like starting school all over again. So for those of you that don't know how college works, rather than it being the same class that you take throughout the entire year, like in high school you do, 5 classes one semester, you take finals, you go home for Christmas break, you come back, and you basically start fresh with all new classes. So for instance, I'm taking investments because I am a finance and economics double major. So what I'm doing in the classroom, I make sure to bring the book to class every single day, well, classes usually meet twice a week, and I'll make sure to go through and highlight everything. So I have different color codes. You guys know that I'm really big on color coding. Something else that I started adopting is these little sticky tabs, and I even try color coding these. That orange is for really important things, pink is for like math equations that I have to refer back to, and then yellow are just kind of like PS, you might have to know this because the professor mentioned it in class. So I also went to the dollar store and bought something like this that is like a pencil holder, and I always make sure to bring flash highlighters of different colors, and it also keeps like extra pens and then the little sticky tabs. So in order to prepare for an exam, I make sure to read the chapter, and I highlight everything that I think is important, and then I make sure to also highlight everything that the professor says is important. And sometimes teachers will they'll either not require a textbook, or they will not follow closely with the textbook, so it really depends on the teacher. But for teachers that do follow the textbook, it's a lot easier because then you can refer back to that. For teachers that do not rely on textbooks, really pay attention to what they say. If they say, follow my slideshows, then make sure to just follow the slideshow. So for instance, for another one of my classes that I have is International Finance. So my professor prints out all of he gives us on this website for us to access all of his slideshows. So what I'll do for that is then anything that he says in class that's really important, I'll make sure to highlight, and then I'll even put notes at the bottom of whatever it is that he prints out for us. So for his class, I do have a textbook, and he doesn't really go by the textbook as much. I'll read it just for background information in case I want to study something that's in the textbook, but mostly his tests, he said, are going to be on his notes. So that is how I prepare for an exam before it actually happens. When test day comes, I usually study a day to 2 days beforehand, and what I like to do is I'll start with 1 page of notes, and I'll read the first page, and then I'll go to the second page, read the second page, and then sort of go back and forth. So I'll go back to the first page, read the notes, but it's really helpful if you take the study guide that your teacher gives you, so that you have more or less like an outline of what it is exactly that you need to do. So again, it does sort of go along with what your teacher's style is. Some teachers, like for instance, I had a teacher last year who actually gave us a take-home test, and then we had to do the take-home test, and then the next day we would have it in class, but it basically was the same exact test, so I just had to study that test. But for the most part, like I'm saying, it's just reading like 1 page of notes. So for instance, this is my investment notebook. So I started with like chapter 1 here, so I will go through and read like when you make an investment, think about 3 things. So I'll make sure to like read that, then I'll go to the next page, and then it says like market made up of, and then whatever it's made up of, and read that, and then I'll go back to this page and be like, okay, so what were those 3 things about whenever you make an investment? And I try to like quiz myself, because you never really know how teachers are going to structure their exams. The best kinds are sometimes the ones that are just all essay, because, I mean, basically just write down everything that you think you remember. The ones that are multiple choice can also be easy, but again, it goes to the teacher. So I hope that helps. If you have any more like specific questions about maybe what type of teaching style your teacher has, make sure to leave some comments, send me something on Facebook, on Twitter, and I can try to help you specifically with how your teacher is teaching. How much studying do you do in a week? Like I said, I try to study once or twice before the actual exam, and then on a weekly basis, I just keep up with the homework. I don't really study for the exam until like 2 days before, but I would say on an average, maybe right before the exam, I don't know, maybe like 5 to 6 hours or something, depending on how difficult the class is. So some of them, for instance, I'm taking international business, and I've had this professor twice before, so I'm familiar with her teaching methods, and I know that I don't have to study very much for that. So whenever midterm comes for that, I might need to study maybe 2-3 hours the day before and be fine. So it really depends on the type of material. This investments class, yeah, I'll probably have to study like 6 hours for it or something, maybe even more. I'll let you guys know whenever the midterm time comes, but we don't really have tests. That's something more that underclassmen have. When you get to be junior, senior, you get like just midterms and finals, and that's it. And then occasional like papers or something in between. So my test is like everything that I've learned for 2 months, and then you have like a midterm. So it's a little different. But the best tips on studying. So one of my favorite things to do, aside from highlighting and making tabs and everything, I went to Target and I bought these awesome little 5 days of a week things, and I basically just put everything on here. So I make sure to keep myself in line. This is like what my planner looks like. As you guys know, I love color coding. The best like tips on how to study is basically just keeping track of all of your work. I mean, there's really that's probably the best advice that I could give you, is if you can make a schedule of all the things that you have to do during the day, all the things that you have to do during the week, it keeps you in line of homework and as well as studying. So for instance, the same sort of way that I do this, like, okay, Monday I slept and did my laundry, I had to do like all my RA finals, I had to update this account for the university because I'm a mentor, I had to do my internship, I was on duty, and then I had homework. So the same way that I do this, I will do the same exact type of thing for whenever I do testing. So for instance, with my investments class, I'll know that I have to study chapters 1, 2, 3, and 5 or something, for example, and then I'll write down certain key things that I learned in the chapters. And this also goes back to a combination of what we learned in the textbook as well as the important things that we talked about in class. So I put big stars for important things that are like the subject. So for instance, let's see. Okay, so for instance, this is chapter 3, types of information, which is found on page 77. I put a big star right here. So that to me indicates that that's a major topic in the book, something that like stuck out, something that the professor said, a really, really big topic. And then I'll put little stars for additional information. So it's like heading of the chapter, big major topic of the chapter, and then I make little stars for individual things. And then another tip is to just kind of like go through your notes. Sometimes it's really difficult to get in the swing of things, like to go and study even though you know you don't have an exam. So don't overwhelm yourself, give yourself realistic expectations, and definitely only study the classes daily that you know are really difficult. So this investments class, obviously I keep bringing it up. I only have 4 classes this semester, but it's because I took a class in Luxembourg and I've been doubling up, you know, taking 5 or 6 classes every other semester. So I've been making sure to keep up with my homework, which is also a really great studying tip, is if you can keep up with the homework, that in itself is already studying. So make sure you do your homework. I know I sound like your mom by saying that, but really, I mean, it really does help, especially for math-based classes. And if you just go through and, just make sure that you read up on notes that you've done, maybe, like, some people are they work well with rewriting their notes. I don't like to do that because I feel like I could be listening to music, paying attention to someone, rewriting my notes, and I'm not really actually remembering what it is I'm writing down. I'm a visual person, so if I can look at my notes and just look at it again and again and again, that to me helps because I'm very visual and I have good memory to remember like what it is on my paper. If it helps you to write things out, if you notice that as you're writing notes from the book that you say, wow, looking at how I write it down on paper really helps me because I remember what I'm writing, then write it out. Take a blank piece of paper and rewrite your notes. Some of my residents do that. That, again, doesn't work for me, but it's repetition. If you can just find a study tip or a studying habit that works best for you, usually those are the two top ones. Either that you need to rewrite your notes or that you need to just look at them and just read them all the time, then that will be the best way. But anyway, I hope this video helped you. If you have any additional comments, think that I missed something, want me to further explain something, send me a tweet at LaFashionItalia, or send me a question comment on Facebook, or message me on this one. And like I said, I'm going to be uploading a video every single Wednesday. It could be about school, life, being an RA, college, I don't know, being a girl, relationships, anything. I think I'm going to also maybe I'll do 2 videos a week and do one on Wednesday, and then if I get like a really great response from Twitter, I'll just do like a video just answering like a bunch of things rather than just taking one video for one question. So let me know what you guys want to do, and I hope this helped. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next week. Bye!